I'm sorry, but how can occasional good put so much the clones are sorry, there are no zero where they talk the kid wants to side quest. Echo is literally the only one that is unique and compelling. And this is why I'm making this video. After the end of Season 1 of The Bad Batch, I created a compilation showcasing all of my favorite moments from my favorite character, Tech. Now, I did not expect this video to get anywhere, but somehow it has pulled through the algorithm to be my most popular video ever. But since then, I have realized that people did not enjoy the show as much as I did. In fact, the overall consensus regarding the show by Star Wars fans, and especially fans of the Clone Wars, was it was decent at best. And while I could not disagree more, I do understand where they're coming from. From a surface level, yes, the characters are poorly developed. The episodes have lots of filler, and the show had a lot of wasted potential. You see, I'm not ignoring the show's flaws. You can still like something and see the flaws in it. But just because a piece of media has flaws does not mean it can't be enjoyed. Before we begin, I'm not attacking anyone who doesn't like the show. It's so sad that I have to make a disclaimer for this, but it's just what the internet has come to. Please don't attack people having a difference of opinion. It's just a television show, and there are bigger problems that have petty fights over someone enjoying a piece of media that you don't, and vice versa. So, with that out of the way, be nice, and let's get started on this video. One of people's main problems with the series is the filler episodes. And yes, there are a few episodes that it could have been done better, and a few that were probably unnecessary altogether. But buckle your seatbelts because this unpopular opinion might shock you. Filler is not always a bad thing. As a writer, I understand having compelling plot is one of the main ways for you to get your readers to stick around through the whole book, show, or movie. But I also understand that having only plot-relevant things can get overwhelming. When your audience is overwhelmed by the abundance of plot-relevant information, they may decide to come back and finish it later when they have more mental energy to cover the topic. And then they never do. The best thing is having a good ratio of plot-relevant chapters or episodes and having ones that are less relevant but still enjoyable. A show with perfect ratio of filler to relevance is The Clone Wars. Arcs switch between being heavy and plot-orientated that move the Skywalker saga's main story forward, and having less heavy, less relevant arcs that are still enjoyable because we get to see the characters that we know and love. Ahsoka's framing arc and the arc where she saved the Jedi Padawans from being hunted for sport are both in the same season. And they're both still enjoyable arcs, and I watch them both equally. But one is more memorable because of her story being pushed forwards, and one is less memorable because it's what we would deem filler. But that's just it. The Bad Batch is not the Clone Wars. It's the Bad Batch. So many people are treating this series as The Clone Wars Season 8 and expecting it to be the exact same level of quality as Season 7 of The Clone Wars. But it took years of work and character development to work Clone Wars up to that level of quality. The show's first 2 seasons were, to put it bluntly, pretty bad. But they got better because we grew with the characters and grew to love them more and understand their motivations. However, the reason why the finale of the Clone Wars was so good was because we've grown with the characters for 7 seasons. This seems to be a problem with Star Wars fans nowadays. After the almost immediate success of The Mandalorian, people want to like the show from the first episode. And if it isn't exactly what they wanted, they deem the show as terrible and Disney trying to make money off of fans. Which I'm not saying that they aren't trying to do that, but stick with me. As a writer, I understand that 99% of viewers won't be attached to your characters or plot right away, but keeping them intrigued about what might happen next is how you eventually get them to fall in love with the characters too, not just your plot. And that's what happened to me with The Bad Batch. The idea of genetically modified clones intrigued me and kept me around long enough to fall in love with the characters. And I hope it does to you too. I'm not saying the show is the best in existence. I would honestly rate it as 7 out of 10 at best, just based on the first season quality. But the amount of hate this show receives is astounding to me. Maybe season 2 will blow this all out of the water, but for now, I suppose I'll end with this. The Star Wars community has a habit of attacking others for not liking or liking certain pieces of media. You can dislike something without attacking others for liking it, and vice versa. Maybe it's time we finally let people like what they like, even if we don't agree with their opinions.